Russian governor declares state of emergency. Before we dive in details, please subscribe to the channel and stay always one step ahead to know all global important events happening around you. Give a thumbs up and share the video with your family and friends. Let's move on with the video. In response to Finland's decision to close all but one of its border crossings with Russia, Murmansk Region Governor Andriy Chibis has declared a state of emergency. This is reported by Meduza. This move is aimed at ensuring the safety of residents in the region. The Raja Giuseppe crossing in the Murmansk region will remain the only operational border point. Governor Chibis expressed concerns about a potential surge in the number of foreign nationals seeking entry into a NATO country through the Murmansk region. He noted that about 400 foreigners are currently at another checkpoint in the area, with Finland allowing only 50 of them to enter daily. This situation arises amidst a sharp increase in migrants from Africa and the Middle East attempting to enter Finland via the Russian border. The closure of Finnish border crossings and the declaration of a state of emergency in the Murmansk region highlight the growing complexities at the Russia-EU border. Some European politicians and officials suspect Russia of artificially creating a migrant crisis at the Schengen zone borders. However, Moscow denies these allegations, with the Russian Foreign Affairs Ministry labeling such views as very strange. This development underscores the escalating tensions and challenges at the borders of Russia and EU countries, particularly in the context of the ongoing geopolitical conflicts and the movement of migrants seeking entry into the European Union. Also, the Declaration of Independence sparked a civil war in Finland, pitting the Reds, with their socialist ideals, against the Whites, who favored a conservative, nationalist approach. It was a bitter and bloody conflict that tore the country apart and left deep scars that are still visible today. The Civil War ended in May 1918 with a victory for the Whites. This secured Finland's independence, but also set the stage for a contentious relationship with its eastern neighbor. Thus, the seeds of tension were sown, setting the stage for the conflicts in the 20th century. As the world plunged into the horrors of the World War II, so did Russia and Finland. The chill of the Winter War, a bitter conflict that erupted between the two nations in 1939, still lingers in the collective memory. Russia, eager to create a buffer zone against potential German aggression, demanded Finnish territory. When Finland refused, Russia invaded, leading to a 3-month-long war that ended in a peace treaty, but not before causing significant casualties on both sides. But the conflict didn't end there. Just a year later, the continuation war ignited, with Finland aligning with Germany in an attempt to regain lost territory. This war, lasting from 1941 to 1944, was marked by heavy losses and intense fighting. Yet despite the odds, Finland managed to retain its independence, albeit with territorial concessions to Russia. In the post-war period, the Treaty of Paris in 1947 officially ended hostilities between the two nations. Finland agreed to cede more territory and pay reparations to Russia, further straining their relationship. Yet, despite the tensions, Finland managed to maintain a policy of neutrality during the Cold War era, carefully balancing its relations with both East and West. The Cold War years were marked by a cautious coexistence, with Finland striving to maintain its independence while also accommodating Russian interests. This delicate balancing act, known as Finlandization, became a defining feature of Russian-Finnish relations during this period. Despite the challenges, Finland emerged as a prosperous and democratic nation, demonstrating its resilience in the face of adversity. These wars left a lasting impact on the relations between the two nations, leading to the strained relations we see today. The echoes of the past continue to resonate, shaping the dynamics of Russian-Finnish relations in the present day. History, as it often does, casts a long shadow. The turn of the century brought new challenges and complexities to the Russian-Finnish relationship. As the world entered the new millennium, Finland sought closer ties with the West, becoming a part of the European Union and forging a path that would lead it towards the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. This increasing alignment with the West was not without its controversies, however, as it represented a significant shift in Finland's traditionally neutral stance. In the whirlwind of geopolitical shifts, the most recent and significant development has been Finland's decision to join NATO in April of 2023, becoming the alliance's 31st member. This move was met with concern from Russia, as it extended NATO's land border closer to major Russian cities and military bases. It also further isolated Kaliningrad, a strategically important Russian exclave on the Baltic Sea. This tension intensified when Finland, in an unprecedented move, decided to close all but one of its border crossings with Russia, citing security concerns. This decision, while controversial, came amidst fears of potential Russian retaliation to Finland's NATO membership. The impact of this decision was immediate and severe, leading to the declaration of a state of emergency in the Murmansk region of Russia by Governor Andrei Chibis. These actions have stoked the embers of a long-standing historical tension between the two nations, and the international community watches with bated breath as the crisis unfolds. The closing of the border crossings represents a tangible manifestation of the ideological divide that has been widening over the years, and the state of emergency in the Murmansk region underlines the severity of the situation. This brings us back to the present day, where the echoes of the past continue to reverberate in the current crisis. From the early days of the Grand Duchy to the present state of emergency, the relationship between Russia and Finland has been anything but simple. We've journeyed through centuries of history, tracing the complex threads of power, conflict, and cooperation that have shaped the narrative of these two nations. In the early days, we saw how the Grand Duchy of Finland existed as an autonomous entity under Russian rule, a period marked by a delicate balance of power. The wars that followed, from the Winter War to the Continuation War, saw Finland fiercely defending its sovereignty, even as it navigated the intricate geopolitics of a world at war. The post-war period brought a new dynamic, as Finland carefully charted a path of neutrality, balancing East and West during the Cold War. However, in the modern era, tensions have escalated once again. Finland's recent decision to close all but one of its border crossings with Russia in the wake of its NATO membership has ignited a new crisis. The response from Russia, specifically from Murmansk region governor Andrei Chibis, declaring a state of emergency, underscores the severity of the situation. And so, as we continue to watch the unfolding situation in the Murmansk region, we can't help but reflect on the long and complex history that led us here.